Good Morning Indiana is sponsored by Armor Air. From Indy streaming news leader, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now at 5, it is Election Day. We'll break down the races you should watch here in central Indiana. Businesses speak up as more teens are dying in homicides, how they hope to reduce the violence. And you ever go on a vacation to find out it's too crowded? We'll hear from an IUPUI expert on the impact of overcrowded destinations and how you can avoid it. But first, here at 5 o'clock, I want to thank you for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael has the day off today, but Todd is here with a check of your forecast. And man, it is so warm out there
Right?
for early November. I just can't believe it.
You know, yesterday was just absolutely terrific.
Yeah.
I know it was windy, right? And I told you that was going to be the flaw in the forecast, but you can't really complain when it's windy and you're dealing with temperatures that are at 75 is eventually what we got up to yesterday. Today we probably don't get quite as warm, but we're generally going to be right around 70 degrees for your afternoon high. This morning starting off in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. 64 right now in Bedford, 60 in Bloomington, 55 in Indy as well as Richmond, and a little cooler to the north there. And the skies are partly to mostly cloudy here this morning. It's just the high thin clouds that are out there though, currently making their way through the area. There's no precipitation out there, so that is definitely good news. And there's no precipitation in the forecast for the day today. So we'll let this little wave of cloud cover go through, and then we get brighter skies as we work our way throughout the course of this election day. So get out there and vote. Your temperatures today will be nice and mild once again, as we mentioned, 63 degrees with partly cloudy skies by the noon hour. And then by 4 p.m., we're looking at mostly sunny skies, Lauren, and a high temperature of 68 in the city. But southern locations, once again, likely into the low 70s.
All right, Todd, well, let's take you out here to I-465. We're over on the northeast side of town. You can see that traffic here is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound right now. No delays to slow you down, so that's great news. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. Well, now to America Votes 2023. Today is a municipal election, primarily focusing on mayoral along with the city and town council races. WRTV's Nico Panisi live this morning with a preview of the big ticket item on the ballots right here in Indianapolis. Good morning, Nico.
Good morning, Lauren. Yes, I'm at the Benjamin Harrison presidential site, which is actually a polling center, and it's set to open in just about an hour.
Good Morning Indiana is sponsored by Armor Air. From Indy streaming news leader, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now at 5:30, it's Election Day 2023. Our own Nico Panisi will join us live at Marion County at a voting center to break down what you need to know before you cast your ballot. A shortage of caseworkers in the Department of Child Services. We break down the growing concerns surrounding foster care. And a law on gun restrictions being challenged today in the Supreme Court. We'll break down who the current law impacts. First here at 5:30, thanks for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael is off today, but Todd is here to break down your Election Day forecast. Not very exciting when you live in a non-incorporated area and there's nothing on your ballot.
Yeah,
but
for you, of course.
For a lot of people, they might be trying to get outside today.
Yeah, I live in Indy, so we got the mayor's race. And, you know, there's no reason weather-wise not to get out to vote. Well,
Right.
You should all go out and vote. But a lot of people blame the weather, but there's no excuse here for the day today, because when you're standing out in line, if there is a line, you're not going to get frozen, and you're not going to get wet, or you're not going to get snowed on.
Good Morning Indiana is sponsored by Armor Air. From Indy streaming news leader, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 6 o'clock here on this Election Day, Tuesday, November 7th. Polls are now open in most of central Indiana. This morning, Todd's tracking what could be a ballot-worthy forecast. Votes for Todd.
Yeah, right.
What a great day in November.
If this forecast was in the running for something, I'm pretty sure it would
win an award.
It would
yeah,
win
at least.
award and win office, or maybe not 4 years, but
yeah,
maybe a week or two.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yesterday was really warm, really windy. Today we're not quite as warm, but we're not as windy. So I think when you think about it, it's kind of an even trade, as we're still going to be well above normal today, but we don't have to contend with those gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Your temperatures this morning range from the 40s to the 50s. We had a few 60s last hour, but we've cooled off a little bit. Where you're in the 40s, that's where your skies have cleared. Where you're in the 50s, there's a little bit of high thin cloud cover out there, but it's not the thick overcast sky, so that's the good news. And there's no precipitation out there either.
Lots of Black Friday deals starting this week. The best deals are still over Thanksgiving weekend and on Cyber Monday, and that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
Right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Here's your Tuesday news feed. A man accused of intentionally ramming into an IMPD squad car on Friday is back in jail. He was released due to a clerical error. That's according to the Marion County Superior Court's administrator. That court administrator told WRTV that the suspect's bond was set at $4,500 instead of $45,000. In addition to Friday's incident, the man also reportedly crashed into police cars back in 2017, 2018, and in February. This morning, millions of Americans will head to the polls to vote in key elections. In Kentucky, voters will decide whether to give their Democratic governor a second term. In Ohio, voters will decide whether to amend the state constitution to favor abortion rights. The results of today's races could be a sign of what's to come in next year's presidential election. And Indianapolis will have a front row seat to a once-in-a-lifetime sight next year, the total solar eclipse. Local schools are preparing right now. Center Grove Schools announced it will use a waiver day and close all schools the day of the eclipse. That's April 8th. The district says Homeland Security officials predict traffic jams the day of the eclipse. Center Grove will also send eclipse glasses home with their students. So looking ahead to April, Todd, hopefully it's nice weather that day. Hopefully just as nice as today.
Right.
I mean, in November. We're living it up here.
You know, everybody's planning for this eclipse, right? And it's like, I keep telling everybody, it's like, if it's cloudy, you know, it'll still get dark. It's still going to get dark. But you won't be able to see the sun the way you want to see it. So hopefully, fingers crossed for great weather for that event. Great weather, you're exactly right, Lauren. If we can get this weather in April, everybody will be a happy camper. All you need is the sunglasses here throughout the day today.
900th win. All right, back here, we want to bring in Todd to talk about our forecast for today. What can we expect as folks head out on the road?
Yeah, the skies are been clearing. We've been talking about it all morning long, and all of a sudden some fog has developed really quickly across the area. Dense fog advisory. It's kind of certain counties across parts of the area. Here's the view on the Clay-Vigo County line there along I-70. You can see a little bit of that fog has settled in. There's a little pocket there in Hamilton County as well. Otherwise, as you'll see on our tower cameras here in just a second, most of the area is just fine. So just give yourself a little bit of extra time if you encounter that fog. Otherwise, 68 today, 76, but windy for the day tomorrow.
All right, well, we'll give you a look all around central Indiana. Beautiful sunrise here for us on this Tuesday. Get out and vote if you can. We hope you have a great one. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Closed captioning sponsored by Audi Indianapolis on 96th Street. From Indy streaming news leader, this is a WRTV update.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 7:23 on our Tuesday. Let's check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen in our forecast for today. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, Lauren, the skies have been clearing here throughout the morning hours, and where temperatures have dropped down into the 40s, we've seen some patchy dense fog develop, and the Weather Service put out a dense fog advisory right before 7 a.m. And you can see those visibilities reduced a little bit in Hamilton County, then from Crawfordsville to Greencastle back towards Terre Haute. Our camera there is dropped out, but I was trying to show you some of the fog that is out there. The clouds will kind of clear out as the day goes on, and we'll have lots of sunshine here throughout the day today. And overall, a real nice election day with above normal temperatures. Less windy today as well, and highs right around 70 degrees.
Todd, taking it back down here to southern Indiana. As you're moving southbound on I-65, you won't be able to continue to the Louisville area here. We have all lanes of southbound I-65 still closed after an early morning deadly vehicle fire and crash. No word on exactly what happened here, but you can see that the cleanup is extensive this morning, and delays are backing up as drivers are seeking an alternate route. So plan ahead if you're heading towards Kentucky from the state this morning. We will keep you updated, and we'll be right back with your top stories after the break. Welcome back. So this morning there's some new developments in the case surrounding the Delphi murder suspect Richard Allen. Allen's former attorneys have asked the Indiana Supreme Court to kick the judge off the case. The attorneys Brad Rossi and Andrew Baldwin say that the special judge, Frank Gull, was wrong by accusing them of gross negligence and forcing them to withdraw from the case last month. Today's also Election Day. You have until 6 p.m. tonight to cast your ballot. We'll bring you the latest election results right here on WRTV News at 11. We're back here with more local news coming up at 7:56. Breaking news and weather is updated throughout the day on the WRTV app.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
It's Election Day in Indiana. Voters will determine many races, including who will lead Indianapolis and Carmel for the next 4 years. A closer look at the biggest races in moments. But first, thanks for joining us here for the News at Noon. I'm Megan Shem with meteorologist Todd Clausen. On this Election Day, Todd, what kind of weather can people expect, especially if they're headed out to the polls this evening?
No excuses, Megan. No excuses at all to blame the meteorologist here not to get out there and vote. So you have plenty of time here this afternoon to do so. Your polling locations, and actually walk to your polling locations. It'd be absolutely beautiful. A little bit of a temperature spread across the area. We're right around 70 in Bloomington, Bedford, and Columbus, 64 in Indy.
And cute name.
I like the name.
Yeah.
Right? I like it. Brown, just kind of like a little bourbon whiskey.
Whiskey.
Absolutely. Great day to walk the dog and a great Election Day forecast here. Calm winds, lots of sunshine, 68 degrees. Tomorrow's windy once again, some gusts up to 30 miles per hour. A high of 76 degrees, and then it's back to reality as we work our way into the weekend. Not cold, but seasonable. Highs in the 50s and sunshine for the weekend.
Back to reality,
That's
all right. Thank you, Todd, and thanks for joining us here for the News at Noon. We'll see you tonight for the news at 5 and 6. Have a good one.
WRTV News at 5 is sponsored by AccuLevel.
Now at 5, one more hour to cast ballots on this Election Day as Hoosiers choose their community leaders.
I'm here at the MLK Center off of 38th Street, where a steady stream of voters are coming through to cast their ballot for the mayor's race. Coming up, hear from the candidates before the polls close.
And a beacon of hope in an East Side neighborhood goes up in flames. How the owners do more than just feed their neighbors.
And serious business for a hometown comedian. Mike Epps is giving back and building up the Indianapolis neighborhood where he grew up.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
And we begin here at 5 o'clock with breaking news. A person is dead, trapped in a vehicle in a pond on the city's far west side.
Yeah, the driver had led police on a chase before plunging into the water. This is all unfolding off South Girls School Road and Moon Drive in the Sungate neighborhood that is just south of Rockville Road.
WRTV News at 5:30 is sponsored by AccuLevel.
Thanks for joining us for the news at 5:30. I'm Megan Shin. It's Election Day in Indiana, and polls are still open until 6 p.m. WRTV's Nico Panisi takes us to one polling location to share why local voters are casting their ballots.
The home of America's 23rd president and Hoosier, Benjamin Harrison, is one of the many locations in Marion County you can cast your ballot today.
Blake Roebuck is putting emphasis on exercising your right to vote.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Election night in Indiana, the race for mayor in Indianapolis and Carmel. We're live tonight covering both races and how voters are feeling.
A dog seemingly abandoned at Indianapolis International Airport. The search for the owner is now underway. Next, what you should know before traveling with a pet.
Lines of traffic, and yeah, it sucks that you can't turn left.
A construction project impacting Southside businesses and drivers. We're told it was supposed to be finished at the start of the month. We found out what's going on now.
But first, here at 6 o'clock, a man is dead after a police chase ends in a car crashing into a pond on the west side of Indianapolis.
And here's what we know at this hour. Plainfield police tell us they tried to stop a vehicle on Ronald Reagan Parkway and Main Street in Plainfield, but the man drove off. Investigators tell us the driver ran into another vehicle and kept going. And more episodes are planned in the future.
I found out he's wearing the McDonald's outfit because that was his first job.
Isn't that something?
We're going to have more on that tonight at 11.
It all goes full circle there. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Have a great night, everyone.
Closed captioning sponsored by Audi Indianapolis on 96th Street.
Election Day 2023, it may not be a presidential year, but there are some big decisions to make in central Indiana. Hoosiers turned out by the thousands today to help make those choices. Good evening. We're starting tonight with an update on elections after the polls closed just 1 hour ago. Several smaller city elections are being decided, as well as elections for top leadership positions in 2 major local cities. Current Indianapolis Mayor and Democrat Joe Hogsett is going up against Republican Jefferson Shreve. One big difference between the two is their intent to hire a public safety director. It's a position Mayor Hogsett's administration eliminated when he was elected 8 years ago, and Shreve wants to hire someone for it. As of 7 p.m., we had no results for that race yet. And meanwhile, up in Hamilton County, one city decided today on its first new leader in nearly 3 decades. Carmel is getting a new mayor. Republican Mayor Jim Brainerd is stepping down after almost 30 years in office. And Democrat Miles Nelson is facing off with Republican Sue Finkham for Brainerd's position. Both candidates are current city councilors in Carmel. Votes are still being counted at this hour, but here are the results so far. The first batch of votes are in, and it's pretty much split down the middle right now, with Finkham leading with about 6,600 votes and Nelson close behind with 6,300 votes. At just past 7 o'clock, votes aren't done being counted quite yet, but we'll be monitoring those results for you, and we'll have the latest election results all night long, posted live on the WRTV mobile app and at WRTV.com. And just like election results, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is following some numbers as well. We're talking about temperatures, Kevin.
Thanks for reporting.
Yeah.
Right behind me, temperatures in the 50s. Did you like that today? Back in the 70s from Indianapolis south. It wasn't quite as warm to the north. Temperatures tonight drop into the upper 40s and 50s. And then this is the highlight for tomorrow, 75 degrees. Thursday and Friday, noticeably cooler with temperatures in the 50s. Our best chance of rain tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Then we're in a dry stretch as we go to the weekend. Sunshine on Veterans Day and 54. That's your 7-day forecast.
Thanks for joining us on Inside Indy. I'm Megan Shin. Construction delays have been the cause of concern for many drivers on the south side of Indianapolis, and now local businesses in the area say they're feeling the impact. WRTV's Kaylin Kendall has the story.
Leaders elected across central Indiana tonight, and some big races brought voters out to the polls in force. We're breaking down the results here and across the country when the news starts in 60 seconds.
WRTV News at 11 is sponsored by LD Smith Plumbing. From Indy's streaming news leader, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us on this election night. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lots of results from lots of races across central Indiana. They are scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now, and you can also find them at WRTV.com. We're starting off with Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett winning a 3rd term after defeating Republican Jefferson Shreve in an expensive race that got a lot of voters out to the polls. WRTV's Meredith Hackler was there as Democrats celebrated tonight's victory.
The voters have spoken, and Democratic Mayor Joe Hogsett will remain in office for another 4 years. Republican challenger Jefferson Shreve conceded after the most expensive race ever to be ran in the state's largest city.
It'll gust over 20 early afternoon, probably to 30 miles per hour as we get to the evening. And then that's it. We're cooler until further notice after that.
I like how you said 75 or more. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.
WRTV is bringing you stories from this week that made a mark. In-depth content drawn from your community, extended features on issues that affect you, interviews with families working to fix problems, and a focus on people making a difference in central Indiana. This is WRTV Week in Review.
With Thanksgiving a week away, many people are preparing their meals for the upcoming holiday. But what should you know as you're making your grocery list? WRTV's Caitlin Kendall is breaking down the costs and what you should expect to pay when heading to the store this year.
3 different stores, 4 holiday staples: the turkey, pumpkin pie, cranberry sauce, and don't forget the stuffing. But what's the best place to get those holiday staples? We're about to find out. Inside the grocery store, people are shopping.
Have fun without a lot of stress.
Get free local news and weather on your schedule any time of the day. Just download the WRTV app wherever you stream.